And welcome to our Bravo News Live. We are here to talk all about Bravo and everything that's been going on in the Bravo universe, from Housewives to Southern Charm. There is a lot going on, and we are going to be dishing all about it. The RHONJ rumor, so much more. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, and I am joined by the one and only Morgan Wright. Morgan, how are you doing today? Is there any topic you're particularly excited to talk about?
I'm doing wonderful. I mean, I'm always down to gossip about Erika Jayne. Every episode, I feel like just keeps getting juicier and juicier. And right before we popped onto this live, we got some more tea. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, me as well. I think the first half of the week was very Bachelor focused. I think a lot of us could not stop talking about, thinking about, breathing about Katie and Greg and that whole breakup. So it's actually refreshing to come on here and just kind of dish on all the Bravo stuff, because there's a lot of juicy, fun things to talk about there. So we're going to get all into it. And I do want to start with the Real Housewives of Dallas, because there are triple firing rumors. And there has been rumors for a couple of weeks, but once I saw Tiffany Moon's recent TikTok, I was like, we need to get on here and discuss this, because surprisingly, the rumors in Dallas are saying that Tiffany Moon, D'Andra, and Cameron are all confirmed to return to the show, and there is a potential firing for Stephanie, Brandy, and Carrie. And the plan is to add 3 new housewives and do a big cast shakeup. Morgan, I think a lot of people have said that Dallas is the worst Housewives franchise. It might even be dying. Is this Housewives shakeup going to change anything? Should they just cancel the show? What are your thoughts on all this?
I think it's interesting. Well, first and foremost, I do agree that Dallas is my least favorite Housewives franchise. I just feel like nothing is really stuck with Dallas. It's hard for me to get into it as much as I do the other ones. But I am interested in them firing these 3, if that is the case. First and foremost, Stephanie is my favorite Real Housewife of Dallas. Like, she is my number one favorite. So I would be really upset to see her go. Carrie, I know sometimes can be problematic, but I feel like she's one of the only ones that actually brings out drama in the show. Every show needs a little bit of a villain, whether it's a Kelly
Mm-hmm.
Dodd or, I mean, that's the only one that I can think of right now. But I feel like Carrie kind of fit that role. And then Brandy, I feel like I would be surprised if she went, because she's had a wild off season. All those rumors and videos about her
Mm.
husband, I feel like it really could bring drama to the show. And I mean, I hate that I say that, because obviously it's probably a very difficult thing for her to go through, but as a
Yeah.
viewer, it makes for good reality TV. So I would actually be shocked if these were the 3 from Dallas that went. That being said, I do think I love Tiffany Moon. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Real Housewives of Dallas need Tiffany Moon way more than Tiffany
Mm-hmm.
Moon needs to be on that
Needs
show.
to,
Um,
yeah.
so so I don't want to see her go. But other than that, I think I would be surprised to see these 3 fired.
It's just a little weird that they're talking about firing Stephanie and Brandy, who have been the heart of Dallas since season 1. They're kind of like the center of that show, especially Stephanie. I feel like she's the main character. So I do not want to see Stephanie go. And I hope that that's not the case. Brandy, I feel like her time is gone. I know she has like the interesting rumor, but like Brandy, like goodbye, like literally goodbye. And Carrie, I don't want Carrie gone. Like, this is when Carrie is just getting good. Like, she finally got her momentum. She's adding more spice to the show. She's getting divorced, and like she's gonna have to be a independent woman for the first time. Like, I want to see Carrie transition into that. I'm surprised that they're not going to fire Cameron, considering all the racist allegations and kind of tweets that happened at the end of last season with Tiffany. Do you think that they're really going to bring back Cameron and Tiffany? Like, how could that possibly go next season?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's why I think it is so surprising that the rumors out there are the other 3, because,
Mm-hmm.
on a surface level, you would think, okay, well, with everything that's going on, like, and everything that went down with Cameron and Tiffany, like, obviously that would be the first thing that I would think, but maybe they want to see it play out a little bit more. Maybe they want the drama on screen. I have no idea. I don't know if a cast shakeup would really get me that interested in Dallas, but fingers crossed, because they need something.
I mean, you mentioned they have Tiffany Moon. So if they cancel Dallas, can we just get a Tiffany Moon spinoff? Because I think we're all here for that.
Absolutely.
Yes. She is chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. And I also think Deandra brings a lot to the show. So TBD, they're doing a lot of Real Housewives shakeups. We obviously know about the OC shakeup. And they're just trying to shake up a lot of shows, possibly New York. We're going to get more into that and some of the other housewives. But I do want to remind everyone to subscribe to our channel, ring the bell so you never miss out on any future videos or lives, and give this video a big thumbs up. But Morgan, I heard that you have some Southern Charm updates for us. So why don't you fill us in what's going on with Greg and not Craig, not Greg. Oh my God, you know where my mind is.
We're still just on Greg and Katie. It's so hard to like think about anything else. Okay, yeah. So big Southern Charm tea this weekend with. I want to say Greg too. Oh my gosh, Craig and Naomi. Craig and Naomi. Okay, so just to kind of recap, Craig and Naomi were both in Las Vegas this weekend for different reasons, but both there, same place, same time, nonetheless. We'll start with Craig. He said on his Instagram story that he was in Vegas for a bachelor party. And then Naomi posted on her story that she was in Vegas with a group of friends. This obviously comes after the huge breakup between Naomi and her long-term boyfriend Matul after learning about his infidelity, after she moved her whole entire life to New York for him. It has just blown up all over the internet. And Craig has been single for a while, but has been linked to Kristen Cavallari and Paige DeSorbo. Now, Craig did say on his podcast that since this breakup, he has spoken to Naomi. The context of that conversation was kind of left to be determined, but he did say that they spoke because they understand each other. You know, they were each other's first love. She really needed some support. How much of a coincidence do you think it is that Craig and Naomi are in Vegas at the same place on the same weekend?
I mean, you said he was there for a bachelor party. So to be fair, like that was probably set in stone for a few months. I don't, and maybe Naomi got word that he was going to Vegas and then got all of her friends together, but it could just happen. I think that rich people and like just people with money, like on TV, I think they just travel a lot. So I don't think it's that like bizarre, but like I'm still shipping Craig and Paige DeSorbo. I'm waiting for this Winter House special that should be coming sometime in the late fall on Bravo. So I'm shipping Craig and Paige. So I don't really want to see Naomi get back together with Craig. And I think, like you said, they're on good terms. They're friendly now.
Yeah, so obviously there's no confirmed reports that they saw each other while they were in Vegas. There was a blind item on Dumois. I think that's how you say it. I never really know how to say it, but that they saw them getting out of an elevator together. I'll just go ahead and give you my theory, Zach. I definitely think they saw each other. I have no confirmation on this. This is strictly a theory, but, you know, as someone who has gone through a breakup before, if you are, you know, recently single, you have reconnected with your ex, even in a friendly way, and then you find out that you're both in Vegas at the same exact time, at the same exact place, even if it's not like, hey, let's meet up and hook up. A text was sent that said, oh, you're here too? Let's say hi. Like they definitely saw each other. And I'm thinking that this might be the catalyst for Naomi coming back to Southern Charm. You know, she did leave the show essentially because Matul didn't like the show. They ended up, like I said, moving to New York. So she was no longer in South Carolina. But I do believe that she's back there now. Do you see Naomi coming back to Southern Charm in this storyline of Craig and his dating life? And if he's dating Paige, if he's dating Naomi, if he's dating Kristen Cavallari, could you see that playing out on Southern Charm?
I think there's a chance that Naomi will come back. I know that she left the show, as you mentioned, because Matul like really did not want to be on it, but I still felt like Naomi, part of her was like okay with leaving in a way. So I don't think she like closed the door officially, but I think she also needed a break for herself. So I would like to see her come back. I think it will add more drama to Southern Charm. It's been a minute since we've had a new season. I think we definitely need a cast shake up there. And I would like to see her come back. I think it's possible, but it's not necessarily super likely because she kind of has moved on in her life. It's been a little bit. But I also think that you do have a point. It's possible that they reached out to each other and maybe they hooked up. But I mean, Craig is at a bachelor party. Like he's probably at the strip club every night. So maybe he's not even thinking about Naomi.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to your point about her coming back. A cast shakeup. A lot of people left when
Mhm.
Naomi left. Cameron left, Chelsea left, Naomi, they all three left at the same time. And those were a lot of people's favorites. I mean, even going through comments on my Instagram page, everybody wants Cameron back, everybody wants Chelsea back.
Mhm.
I personally miss all three of them. The show hasn't been the same since the three of them left. So maybe Naomi is like, the first piece of the puzzle to maybe getting Chelsea back. I don't think Cameron's ever going to come back because she's moved on with her life too. But you guys, we
Yeah.
just want to remind you that we do a live Q&A at the end. So make sure you submit your questions, your comments, concerns. We'll get all into the tea. And next we have tea on, of course, what everyone's talking about, Zach. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Why don't you take it away?
Yes, let's get into that. And I also do want to see Chelsea come back to Southern Charm. But Beverly Hills, a fight broke out between Garcelle and Erika. I mean, Garcelle set off Erika Jayne, which is not like that hard to do. Kyle kind of mentioned in the show that she's been known to have a temper over the years, but we've never seen Garcelle set and Erika go at it. They've always been really cool, I think, since the beginning. So let me tell you guys what happened. So this week on the Beverly Hills, there was an intense 2-week hiatus that was gone, but the ladies are in Palm Springs enjoying their girls' trip. Things got weird between Garcelle and Erika. Garcelle, Crystal, and Erika were on a hike in the desert, and Garcelle had a lot of questions she wanted to ask Erika about the status with Tom, kind of just checking on Erika, seeing how she's doing. In a very intimate moment, Erika did reveal that Tom was suffering from some sort of dementia and that he calls her every day. However, she is not allowed to answer the phone and has been advised to not have any communication with him, which I think we can assume is because of all the legalities involved. Because it's just like, even if you're getting divorced with someone, you can still kind of keep in touch, especially when there's like paperwork involved. But like, obviously, this is really messy. So Erika thought that this was a private moment where she was confiding in Garcelle and Crystal. And then later, when they got back to the house, Garcelle decided to bring it up in front of all of the other girls, which really set off Erika. She said that Garcelle did her dirty, that she was trying to have a moment. Erika was pissed off. She ended up crying hysterically, leaving, going to the bathroom. And Garcelle did feel bad, but I don't think she really knew that Erika didn't want to bring it up. But it was also like an intimate moment. So I don't know why she had to bring it up. I have an opinion on this, but I'm going to stop talking, Morgan, for a second. What do you think about this?
Yeah, well, we'll get into it a little deeper in a second. We'll start with
Mm-hmm.
like just the face value reaction because some stuff did happen
Yeah.
today that kind of changes our perspective a little bit.
Yeah.
But, initially watching this last night, I'm like, Erica, you just said it on camera. Like, do you not think that Kyle and Dorit and
Uh,
everyone was going to see it eventually? And to me, it's kind of like when Dorit said, why doesn't Erica trust me to tell me these things? I can only imagine like Kyle and Dorit and the rest of them really being there for Erica, whether it was at the dinner table or literally just any time. And then seeing something like that back on TV and having not heard it from Erica, it just is kind of awkward, right? How Erica picks and chooses which information she wants to share with which friend. To me, it seems really calculated. And if I was a close friend of Erica, like let's just say Kyle, I would be upset by that. It's like, well, why can you tell Garcelle this, but you claim that you and I are really good friends, but you didn't want me to know this piece of information. So I just thought the whole thing was really weird. Obviously, Erica is on an extremely short fuse. And if it wouldn't have been
mm-hmm.
Garcelle, it would have been somebody else eventually. But Garcelle got the wrath of Erika Jayne last night.
See, I disagree. I don't think it's not that Erica was hiding that from all the other girls. I think that Erica, it was just a private, intimate moment, and Garcelle was there, and it was just intimate. It didn't have to be brought up. It doesn't matter if the reality TV cameras were there or not. I think there's like a rule on Housewives where, like, if you say something more like, to someone, then it can get brought up on the show. If not, then maybe it doesn't. But I also feel like Garcelle was prying too much into Erica's life. And like Garcelle was just kind of being too nosy, in my opinion. But this obviously took a whole nother life of its own on Instagram. So let us know what happened next, Morgan.
Yeah, just to your point, I feel like though I've been in situations before, like in a group of friends where my friend has said something to me and then later we discussed it like as a group. So I feel just like, if they're really your girlfriends, you shouldn't have that strong of a reaction when they find out something. That's just me. I don't know. So yeah, let's get into the whole Instagram tea of it all because right before we jumped on this live, Lisa Rinna actually
Mhm.
posted something very cryptic on her Instagram stories. It was then shared by Erika Jayne. It said something. Oh, here it is. Okay, so you
Oh
can
my
see on the
god.
left here. Yeah, it says, "Dang it! I wish they had shown the screaming fight between the producer and Erika last night on the show in La Quinta. Now that would have been epic TV." Too bad. Okay, there is going to be some cuss words on the next slide. I'm just warning you. We're not going to say them, but it will be written. So this is what it says. This is by Best of Bravo. So basically, what happened, and I'm sorry if we can go to the next one, because I believe this is the second one. But basically, what happened was that Erica had told Crystal separately. Yes. So this is what it says. I've been told that apparently production made it seem like Erica told both Garcelle and Crystal, when in reality she only told Crystal about Tom calling her every day. Cameras weren't there, but they were mic'd.
Ooh.
So this is allegedly, and we can go ahead and go to that one that we just saw. Then allegedly production told Garcelle and had her bring it up to Erika, which
Mhm.
is the conversation that we saw in last night's episode. So that makes everything way more
Different.
complicated than what we
So
saw on
different.
TV, right? Yeah, a completely different scenario. What they're saying here is that Erica only told Crystal. It was a hot mic situation. So the first time we saw it play out on TV, the producers told Garcelle, hey, ask her about this. And then
Mhm.
for Garcelle to do it a second time with the girls, that kind of does go to your point, Zach, that maybe Garcelle was poking and prodding a little bit more.
Mhm.
What do you think about Lisa and Erika posting this on their Instagram stories?
Well, I think it just shows how much the producers can manipulate and get involved because the producers are trying to cause chaos. And here's the thing about Beverly Hills. Yes, they're so fabulous, but recently they're all friends. Like everyone's getting along. There's no real beef going on, unlike other cities. So the producers like have to try and create problems and try and create beef because the girls get along and nobody wants to watch people get along the whole time, even though on Beverly Hills, like that actually is still interesting because they're so fabulous. But I don't think our now and after hearing this, I think that Lisa and Erika maybe were defending Garcelle in a way because Garcelle kind of looked bad, at least in my opinion. She looked really nosy and prying, but Erika was so mad at the producer. I mean, Erika is really getting effed with by these producers. They're really trying to take advantage of every moment because this is like when it's so heightened, they're getting the best TV ever. And I think that is what really set Erika off. Maybe it wasn't Garcelle, maybe it was like the producers. I wish that they could have aired that scene. And this is why I love Lisa Rinna. Well, now I do because she really just like airs it all out. I didn't like her before for many years, but now I like her. But I still feel bad for Erika. Like I know she's messed up, whatever, but like she's crying every episode breaking down. Like Erika is going through something and I feel bad for her and I find it frustrating that so many fans like don't take her seriously when she's literally having traumatizing panic attacks every episode and crying in the bathroom. Like we've never seen that before. And it's also hard to keep up with Erika too because she's lying and then she's telling the truth. And it's just like she's trying to be as open as she can be, but she's going through a lot right now.
And I think that that's where fans have a hard time feeling sympathetic for her because I'm one of those people that does not feel bad for her because
At
in one
all.
second I mean, no, not really. Because in one scene, you have her telling Garcelle that there's no third party involved. 2 days later, they're having a whole dinner party where she tells everybody that Tom's been cheating on her
Mm-hmm.
for years.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, this is a whole different scenario, but what we can take away from it is that Erica Girardi lies. I don't know what she lies about. I don't know if she's lying about her relationship being fantastic or it being an absolute nightmare. I don't know if she's lying about not knowing anything or, being complicit, but we do know that one way or another, she lies a lot.
Yeah.
And I am
And
not down with that.
And she has been lying for years, but I still feel like she is being open and vulnerable at the same time, even though she is kind of lying. But I'm really excited about next week of Beverly Hills because if you caught the teaser, Sutton tells the rest of the girls that she is no longer comfortable being around Erika during this time because at this point, what's going to happen next week is that it's going to go from like 60 to like 100 because this is where the Ponzi scheme and like other terms that I don't know get brought up. And then this is where Erika starts getting investigated in real time. So now like Sutton doesn't want to be around her. And I mean, I cannot wait to see that. That's going to be the beginning of the Sutton and Erika feud. So I think we have a really promising second half of the season to come because we are halfway through.
And I will say for somebody who only got their diamond like what halfway through the season, whenever they started filming, it wasn't confirmed that Sutton was going to be a full-time housewife. She is bringing it. I feel like Sutton is saying everything that fans want somebody to say, right? Because it's like you said, they're all friends with Erika. They're like Kyle and Dorit and Lisa Rinna, they're all like blindly just believing, where Sutton is kind of like, wait a second, I don't want to be caught up in this mess. I don't know you that well, which I feel like anybody who didn't really know Erika would feel like that because you never know. Like one wrong statement and you could be going to jail with Tom Girardi and Erika Girardi if they end up going to jail. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I can't wait for next week. I totally see where Sutton is coming from. And like Dorit is just not saying anything. So, I mean, Dorit, like get involved in something, please. You're right. Sutton is carrying the show. I mean, she definitely deserves that diamond.
Yes. You guys make sure that you submit your comments, your questions, because we are going to do a live Q&A. So if you want to talk about anything that happened on last night's episode of Beverly Hills, if you want to talk about Erika Jayne, Garcelle Sutton, all the things, but we are going to move on.
This week.
What'd you say?
No, I was just saying what you said because you kind of cut out for a second, but you're back and we're here and we are ready to talk about Jersey.
Yeah, so we had this crazy blind item come up this weekend for the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Now, this is a DeuxMoi post. Hopefully, I still don't know how to say it. I'm hoping.
No, you're saying it correctly.
Okay, good. And it has to do with one of the housewives' husbands having an affair. So I'm just going to go ahead and read it. It says, I got some tea to spill straight out of New Jersey. This housewife's husband from New Jersey had an affair 10 years ago. Parentheses, not Jackie. And Marge found out and told everyone at Teresa's party. Wife is super pissed because only they knew about it and had already worked past their issues, and now she has to tell her kids about it. Everyone is apparently being super mean to her and calling her a hypocrite for continually slut-shaming and coming after Marge for her affair. Big storyline for an upcoming season. I mean, I think we all have the same idea on who we think this is, Zach.
No, I don't want to believe this. Okay, when I first read this, I thought it was the new girl, Tracy, because there apparently was a rumor that her husband might have cheated because he was like a professional football player. So I was trying to believe it was about this new girl, Tracy, because I just did not want it to be about Jennifer Aydin or Bill Aydin. I mean, Morgan, you're on the same page with me, right? Like Bill Aydin, like we love Bill Aydin.
I know. I feel like it's going to completely ruin my view of him if it turns out to be Jennifer and Bill.
I mean, it sounds like it's being Jennifer and Bill. It's been, a lot of people are saying it's been Jennifer and Bill. It also kind of makes sense because Marge and Jennifer have had this feud on the show for a couple of years, especially over the last year. Jennifer has slut-shamed Marge in the past, and I do remember Marge starting a fight with Jennifer saying, your husband sleeps in the pool house, he might be cheating, like 2 or 3 years ago, and that really triggered Jennifer, and we didn't really know why it triggered her so hard. And if this is true, that kind of would make sense. I just don't know who else Marge would call out, because I thought maybe it could be Melissa, just because they said it wasn't Jackie, and if it was Teresa, who cares? Or Dolores, because they're divorced, so it wouldn't even matter. Right. So it really only makes sense that it would be Jennifer or maybe the new housewife, Tracy. And I'm really upset for Jennifer. Like, I don't want this to be true.
I know. And it's like, even with all the clues, like the photo that we just saw, no Jennifer. And you even commented on that photo, Zach, and said, where's Jennifer? With exclamation points. And if you go through and look at all their Instagrams recently, not a lot of Jennifer. Like if you look at Melissa's page, Marge's page, obviously,
Mhm.
Jackie's page, they're all posting these group photos, but Jennifer is nowhere to be found. And later on in that blind item, they were saying that maybe she was being iced out a little bit. I feel
Mhm.
like all roads lead to Bill Aiden and Jennifer, but I do not want to believe that it was Bill. So I think I know, but in the Marge Jennifer feud, whose side are you on?
I'm definitely Team Jennifer, and I do appreciate Marge, but I am Team Jennifer, and I'm upset that she's getting iced out. I know Teresa and Dolores are still filming with her. Apparently, we have this new housewife, Tracy, and then there's going to be another new housewife, or she might be a friend of. So hopefully, Jennifer has made a couple new friends with the new blood coming on the show. But I think it's pretty set in stone that Margaret, Jackie, and Melissa despise Jennifer. They're not inviting her to events all season. They're not inviting her to film. So Jennifer will be missing, I think, from a few scenes. And now that this is coming for her, I mean, Jennifer is going to have a very rough season. And I think it might be similar to last season when Jackie had a rough season and a lot of the girls were against her. I think it's just Jennifer's turn to go in the hot seat. Morgan, do we know when Jersey will air? I heard they might be filming for another month, I believe.
Yeah, no word on when it's going to air yet. And they are like right smack dab in the middle of filming the season. So it's at
Mm-hmm.
least going to be another 6 months. I go back and
Six
forth
weeks, not
really on
6 months.
what
I know. I
until
thought
the
you meant six
until
months
the
of
season ends?
filming.
Oh, no, no, no. I mean
Yeah.
until the season airs.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe less. Maybe
Yeah.
less.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Salt Lake City, we've been waiting forever for it, feels like, and we haven't even got a trailer for that yet. So, I mean, I have no idea. But
Mm-hmm.
when it gets back to the Marge and Jennifer feud, I can't choose because I like them both. They both
Yeah.
are like my favorite in different ways. So I just refuse to choose sides. But I also have a hard time sometimes, like with my gut reaction to believe blind items. Do we believe this one?
I don't know. I believe it. I feel like there's been a lot of people commenting on it, and I don't know who lies on the internet, especially when people have fake accounts. I just feel like I've seen so many comments about people who like live in New Jersey and have heard of this already and are just commenting, "Oh, it's Jennifer. It's been confirmed." So I believe it. I feel like when there's smoke, there's fire. As a wise woman once said, cough, Teresa Judice. So I believe that it's a rumor, and I don't know if I believe it's true. I kind of believe it's true. I don't know. Hopefully Bill Aiden will prove me wrong. But unless you have any final thoughts on this, Morgan, I do want to move on to the Real Houses of Potomac.
Let's do
Um,
it.
because this season has been so good. There's a lot going on. Karen, Giselle, Wendy, Mia. But something even more interesting that's going on in Potomac is that Nicki Minaj is set, and I'll put this in quotation marks, to host the RHOP reunion. It all started when Nicki shared a text exchange between her and her publicist stating that Andy Cohen would let her host the reunion if she wanted to because Nicki is a known huge RHOP fan. Nicki got very excited about the potential news and shared lots of stories saying that she was down to host and even confirmed it on her Instagram last week with a clip of the Potomac Housewives saying, "I'll be hosting the reunion. Let me know what y'all want me to ask." I mean, Morgan, she said she's hosting this. Apparently they're going to be filming the reunion in October. We know Potomac just started a few weeks ago. I mean, this is confirmed. Do you 100% believe this, or will you not believe it until you see Nicki at the actual reunion?
I will not believe this until I see zero Andy Cohen and 100% Nicki Minaj. You know what I mean? Like, even if Andy's there, I'm not going to believe that Nicki is hosting the full reunion show. Of course, like, uh, it sounds amazing, but practically and
Yeah.
realistically, would it be? Because I feel like it's Nicki Minaj. Like, I feel like she would take all of the attention away from getting down to what happened in the season. I mean, I feel like she is very over the top. She's, she's an entertainer. She's a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
But like during a reunion, you don't see Andy being the center of attention. He's like, moving conversations along and asking
Mm-hmm.
follow-up questions. is Nicki Minaj going to be good at asking follow-up questions and getting like to the root of drama? I have literally no idea. What are your thoughts on this?
I think she will be good at it because she's a huge fan of the show. So she's like genuinely curious. And I think that works best when you're a interviewer or a host to like not know certain things so that you're like genuinely curious when you're asking. So if she's an invested fan and she is this huge personality, 1,000%, I think she would do a great job. And 1,000%, I want to see her there. I want to see her hosting this. I will say that if she does host the Potomac reunion, this will open doors for other people to host certain Bravo reunions. And I don't know if Andy wants that. I don't know if he likes hosting all of the reunions and all the shows. I mean, Andy is busy. Like maybe he wouldn't mind someone filling in, but this also could be like the beginning of the end for more people to just take over certain reunions. I guess I'm just saying this because I just watched the Siesta Key reunion, which was hosted by Rachel Lindsay, who was obviously the former Bachelorette, and she's, you know, a huge host on like Extra TV and stuff. So I would love to see Nicki. I think it's nice when it kind of mixes things up, and we don't see that on Bravo. I love Andy, obviously, but this would just be such a treat. Other than this, what are your other thoughts on Potomac? And then we got to open it up to this Q&A.
Yeah, so I think what I would essentially like to see from a Nicki Minaj guest appearance would be like a rapid fire burning questions type thing, right? Like one segment where she comes in and she asks like the hot tea questions that maybe Andy would be. I mean, he's not afraid to ask anything, but like
Nothing.
questions only Nicki Minaj can ask, right? That's kind of like what I would envision, but who knows? Maybe she will end up doing the whole entire thing. I am loving this season of Potomac, especially because New York has been such a letdown this season and it like really hurts my soul. So the fact that Potomac is really like bringing the heat every single week makes me feel better. Some things that surprised me about Potomac this year is that Candace is not getting on my nerves nearly as much as she used to. I will say that she's probably getting like a redemption season because people have hated on her for so long. I can't decide if I'm annoyed with Wendy or if I really like Wendy. I go back and forth all the time because like if I have to hear Zen Wen one more time, like no, just stop.
4 degrees.
Zen Wen is
4 degrees.
like, we get
Wendy
it.
just like finds one thing to harp on every season and then she just harps on it. But I still feel like I'm on her side in the her versus Mia feud that's been playing out just because Mia has been so extra. And it's just a lot. But Bravo's getting so much good press recently with Rihanna loving New York, Nicki loving Potomac. And Ramona Singer was on Watch What Happens Live this week, and she did reveal that she is going to the reunion, regardless of all those rumors that like hit the internet. She's not planning on getting fired. Like everything seems very kumbaya with Ramona and Bravo and everything. So I believe that that was honestly just to stir up drama for the ratings because the ratings were the lowest they've ever been.
Maybe. It's very possible.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it seems like because it seemed like everything was fine.
Because like this season of New York, and it's so sad because it used to be my favorite. Like I can't sit down and actually watch it. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing other stuff. I'm on my phone. I'm like doing work stuff. And normally I'm like so invested in what's going on, but it's just not interesting to me at all. I feel like Sonia is the most interesting. And I feel like it's time for Sonia to have her own spinoff. Surely she could do it. Like she 100% could have her own spinoff because it's just not working anymore. I don't know.
I mean, I really like Leah. Ramona's always good TV. So is Luann, Sonia. They're going to need a cast shakeup, just like Dallas and OC had. But I think that is everything we have to discuss today. So you guys are going to have to let us know what you guys think of all of the housewives. We talked about Jersey, Potomac, Beverly Hills, Craig and Naomi. Did they see each other while they were in Vegas? Do you think the Real Houses of New Jersey rumor is actually about Jennifer? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. That is everything we have to share with you guys today. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell because we'll be back with more Bravo news. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, and I was joined by Morgan Wright. Our social media handles are on the screen right now, so be sure to give us a follow and say hello. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.